You show me your tattoo here.
Oh yeah, yeah,
There we go. All right, servant. Hello, welcome. Welcome to my Yo Casa Cocina. My name is Yolanda House. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, in a city called Wilmington. Some of us know it as Wilmas. And I fell in love and I moved to a different state, and it just so happens to be Wilmington, North Carolina. Excited today to talk about a work that's very essential, which is the chef world. I'm excited to talk to a friend who is a chef, and his name is Michael, which many of us that know Michael, we call him Chef Mike. So he's going to join us in a few minutes to tell us his journey as a chef. And I want to continue highlighting and remembering our chef tattoo, Anthony Bourdain. From Long Beach, California. All right. We got Chef Mike in the house. Hola, amigo. Welcome to my cocina. Mi casa es tu casa. Can you show me your tattoo here?
oh yeah, yeah.
There we go. All right, servant. Awesome. I was just remember Anthony Bourdain. He was a tattoo chef. Wherever he would go and travel and make his shows, he would also, put a tattoo. But I really like your tattoo, and that's why I wanted to bring you today to my Yo Casa Cocina Talking Tattoo Chef. So we're moving along, and let me know about your life journey as a chef. Tell me where you grew up and where you are now.
Yeah, I was born here in Torrance. So I was born over at Harbor General, and I kind of grew up back and forth from Orange County and here in the Harbor area, like Wilmington and San Pedro and Harbor City. And I moved around a lot because, I didn't have parents, and I grew up in a really crazy environment with, the drugs, and we never had really stability. And so, unfortunately, I had to go through all that stuff. And I think the kitchen was one of the gateways out of the lifestyle, out of the gangs, out of the drugs, out of all that stuff. I got out of state prison for the first time. I was like 19, and I remember I was like, I have to change my life. I have to do something. And I enrolled at Le Cordon Bleu in Pasadena. This is like 2001. And, I showed up, and I didn't even need the tour. I was like, sign me up. I need this. So the 2.5-year program, I did. It wasn't easy. I still had one foot in the lifestyle that it's not easy just to change your life. So it was kind of a gradual transition. I was starting to have kids. I had both of my kids while I was in school. It was 2.5 years. And so I finished school. It wasn't easy. I was still, like I said, I think I had to go to prison like twice after that. I had to go to federal prison, and then I went to state prison another time. So you can see how I was still making bad choices. And I don't know if you guys heard that expression, show me who your friends are, and I'll show you, who you are. And that's kind of what it was. I wasn't really surrendering to God and what he had for me on the other side. And so it was, like I said, it was a transition to kind of get rid of those friends and change the lifestyle. And I was taking the kitchen more and more serious. Yeah, today I'm a different man. I'm happily married. I have an amazing wife, and I have a little 5-year-old. And my 2 kids that I had in culinary school are now 21 and 19. I've been working at the place that I'm at now, 5,000 Pies, which is a social enterprise for the church. And I've been there almost 8 years. And so it's kind of a big deal for me to stay in one spot for that long. And just my mindset is different. I'm older now. You can see I have the gray hair now. I'm not that young chef that was all crazy. And that little restaurant in West Long Beach, it's really important to the community. It's like the stepchild of Long Beach. There's nothing there. And so you kind of have to go out of your way to get there. And so the fact that we've been on the west side and we've been thriving, and the reputation that we have, they know that we're student based and we're pouring into the youth. So I think it is important if you want to be a chef to not to stay in one place for a while. And I was very fortunate to kind of already have that type of experience before I settled down here at 5,000, and it's kind of a different mindset now. And yeah, recently I got to go to Le Cordon Bleu again in Paris. So
how long were you there? How long was the program?
The program itself was a little over 3 months. I got there in October and I was done in like December. So it would have been 4 months, but you know, I'm glad to be back. And I guess Paris is great to visit, but not really to live. Not for me.
Yes.
You know, but I was an old guy in culinary school now, and it was a little bit different. But I was studying nutrition specifically, and so a lot of lecture and not so much kitchen time. So interesting stuff.
I was listening to some interviews of Anthony Bourdain. He talked about how a chef is a mentor. Chef mentors other chefs, and sometimes you really have to get to help that other person that you're mentoring so that the kitchen can flow. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do with 5,000 Pies and your role in that mentoring?
Well, I was kind of avoiding going to talk about that. It's not like the highlight of my job. Gotcha. You know, I feel like this generation, you know, it's a different kind of breed. You know, like me and you, if our parents said something, or I mean, for me, it was my adults. Like, we just did it. You know, we just respected it. Now these kids have Google. They don't care what you say. They have their rights. So I wish we can do a little more serious type of training, which we used to do in the past. But now it's like we're. I think, you know, Becky, my boss, she wants to just, you know, the ministry is very relational. She really wants to build relationships with these kids. And maybe we don't see the fruit, but at least we've at least, you know, we planted the seed. And so a long time ago, I took all the burden off my shoulders when God was like, none of that is yours. And I had to kind of step back and just accept that this is kind of a different ministry where it's not really about me. All I really do is make sure that the standards are up. And then whatever mentor opportunity there is, you know, then I go ahead and take advantage of that. But like I said, it's been a struggle, yo. But I want to be honest with you. I think the COVID didn't help out. I think some of these kids are you know, I don't know, they're being pulled from so many different directions. And we do have, you know, 1 or 2 quality employees, but the other ones are just kind of distracted. And, you know, if I'm being honest, in a real world situation, I would have probably fired them. You know, really nice. I would have been, hey, this is the end of the road for you, buddy. And now it's more kind of like grace, kind of just loving on them, inviting them to Bible study, inviting them to church. And so it's a different, like, again, it's a different mindset, not so hardcore. Right. You didn't do what I told you, right? So, right. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Your normal kind of kitchen where it's very serious. If you don't show up or you show up late, there's consequences. Here it's just like, you know, it's just a lot of grace.
So do you think that you take that position when you're mentoring young kids and teaching them about, you know, how to cut la cebolla, the onion and all that? Do you feel like your story becomes your platform or Chef Mike's way of teaching?
Well, you know, there's like a thin line of having them respect you as their boss and as the chef. And at the same time, you kind of want to befriend them a little bit. And so you kind of have to ride the wave. It can be a little bumpy sometimes. There are some students that have really excelled. They're pizza masters today, you know, like, and I told them, I think the group that we have now, they've probably been there maybe a year and a half. And some of them really went after it and wanted to know about the dough, know about the techniques, and some of them are really, really good. I feel like I've been really real with them, sharing my stories and sharing my, you know, because the honest truth, I can go get a job somewhere else, yo. You know, I can do something else, and so my content really comes from Jesus, and I have to remember who I work for, and my job is not that glamorous, if I'm being honest with you, but you know, on the other side of that, all that grace I talk about, that gets showered on me. You know, it's a good vibe when the environment's not about just the bottom dollar and how much are we making. It's more like how many souls are we saving? How many young lives are we are loving on, even though they don't deserve it? And like all of us, we're all deplorable sinners, you know. And I think we're just keeping it real with them, and having this idea of this organic kind of relationship. You know, I ask God to use me, and I feel like some of the kids do get it, and some of them are just they're just so wrapped up.
I've learned so much about cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned not only recipes, but I've learned that it's okay to make mistakes, that you got to keep trying, and then that plate's going to get better. What is something that you could encourage someone that is trying to, improve how she makes her tortillas a manos, or someone that wants to get in the path of being a chef?
Just for the home cook, I would say, you know what tastes good. You've been in the kitchen. Don't let everyone try to tell you what tastes good. Trying to develop your own personal style. And, I feel like, just like you say, when you make a mistake, that's an opportunity to learn something. Try to be very strong in sauces. The mix and match, what you already bring to the table with, I always tell people that the recipe is just a guideline. I feel like for me, if you really want to be a chef and this is how you want to make a living, and that's the level of commitment that you're willing or you think you want to pursue. Because I do work with a lot of youth, I just tell them that it's a serious and it's a long commitment. Then I tell them, hey, you have to go all in. I think you have to you want to surround yourself with other great chefs. You've heard that iron sharpens iron. It's literally in the kitchen. So yeah, I feel like you can make anything happen. You have the passion, and sometimes you might not have the resources. You're gonna make it happen. Like for me, I didn't have the resources to go to one of the greatest schools in California, but I was on parole, and somehow God made it happen. Like,
amen.
If you really want this,
wow.
Spoiler alert, you're gonna be on your feet for a long time. You're gonna have to maybe work weekends, but after you put in your dues, then you have a little more options of what you can do. Totally go for it, because once you've achieved certain amount of success, it doesn't feel like work anymore. It feels like you're getting paid to do what you already love to do.
That's right. Well, once again, I want to thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Yeah,
and is there anything else you want to share to our audience about you or what you do as a chef?
I think the work ethic, like I was talking, and I don't want to talk down on the youth, but I feel like there's been a shift as far as work ethic. I think, there's this false reality that you're going to retire at 40 or at, I'm not like, or they go like, well, I'm just going to do Uber Eats. I go, no, that's a side hustle. You need to get a career and a job. I don't know. They want to be YouTube sensations. I feel like, I don't know. If you want something, you got to go and sweat and bleed for this and sacrifice. Then it'll mean more to you, and you'll honor and you'll protect it more in the end. And kind of like the gospel says, there's the wide road is easy, but when you take the narrow road that's hard, that builds character, and you're going to see that you'll be rewarded for that.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for your wise words. Yeah. I appreciate that. If I'm in Los Angeles or Long Beach, California, where can I find you?
Yeah, so we're still right there on the west side at 5000 Pies, which is directly across from Cabrillo High School. And, we are available for all your catering needs, about Tuesday to Friday, 2:30 to 6. Kind of weird hours, right? Great for a chef that wants to come home early, but so it's basically just those limited hours. We have amazing thin crust pizza and amazing deep dish. You can jump on Google or Yelp, and you can see the great reviews that we have for the pizza. And we have also awesome cookies.
Chef Mike, thank you so much.
Bye,
on my next visit.
Okay, see you guys. Take care.
Cuídate.
Bye.
Gracias.
Bye.
Adiós a todos. See you later.